What's going on, y'all? Not the real Will Smith in another for your mother. Hey, I'm here in the Ford Ranger. I wanted to make a correction from last time. I said my Ranger was a 2010, but it's actually a 2008. So not to get anyone confused, correct that from the first video that I made. If you guys haven't watched that, or if you guys are new to the channel, make sure that you guys subscribe. You'll see the video of me taking delivery again of my Ford Ranger, and you'll understand why. I'm back in North Carolina for a few days, and the main reason that I came down was to get my truck fixed. So it's having a misfire issue, and I wanted to explain to you guys some of the things that you guys can do. Now, I'm not a certified mechanic or anything like that, not ASE certified, so if that's someone that you're looking for, you might want to click off this video. But if you are that do-it-yourself person, you like to save money and things like that, stick around for this video, and I'm going to show you guys techniques that I do and things that you guys can, take notes on how to diagnose a misfire on your Ford Ranger. Alright guys, so I have this cheap scanner. So AutoLink scanner typically tells you the basics of what you need to know. Plug it in and we're going to see what the code says, okay? If you guys want to look this up, this is what it is. I've had this for years. It's so cheap, but it's helped plenty of times, preventing me from having to go to the mechanic. If you don't even want to buy one of these, I think this was like 20 bucks. You can definitely go to Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, O'Reilly Auto Parts, I believe Napa as well, and they can definitely scan it for you for free. And that's what I do whenever I don't have my scan tool, because this typically stays in the Corolla. It's plugged in. I'm just going to turn the car to the accessory mode. All right. Press enter. Codes found 1, ignition type spark. So it's saying it's the spark. So either that's an electronic issue, so that can either be the ignition coil, the spark plugs, which I replaced already, or fuel injector, because those are all electronic items. So we're going to read the codes. We're going to see exactly what it says. Stored codes. So it says cylinder 5 misfire. Now, when I was driving the car yesterday, it did say this as well, P0305. So that's specific, that 05 to the 5th cylinder. So you would never have this code for a 4-cylinder. It would only be V6, V8s, and I believe V12s. Now, I also had a cylinder 2 misfire, which it told me yesterday while I was driving. I'm not sure if it'll change if I cut the vehicle on or not, but that's what it said. And I also, just to re-verify this, also went to AutoZone, and I got this paper here. So it has that P0305 as well. Cylinder 5 misfire detected. It has it twice. It also has P0302, the cylinder 2 misfire detected, which is probably what caused that P0300, the random misfire, because it was more than one. Now, like I explained to you guys, I already replaced the spark plugs, and I replaced the spark plug cables, wires, because that's what comes with this Ford Ranger. But I did not replace all the fuel injectors. I only replaced the cylinder 5 fuel injector. So I'm going to show you guys in a second some of the symptoms that you guys will have of a misfire as well. And I'm going to show you how the truck drives under load. All right. So I'm starting the car up. It's cold, so it's going to start right up. All right. You guys heard some hesitation. It definitely has a lot to do with the misfire. Now, you also will have symptoms of bad fuel consumption. I put a quarter of a tank in here yesterday, and I only drove about an hour. So I drove to Winston-Salem and back, and it's about to be on E again. So I'm going to have to put some more gas in there. I also used some fuel cleaners and stuff like that, but the check engine light didn't go off. So what I'm going to do is also replace cylinder 2's fuel injector. And if it persists from there, I'll probably just go back and check that spark plug on cylinder 5, because that's the main code that continuously pops up. Alright guys, so again, this is a 2008 Ford Ranger. It's the 3.0 liter, and it's a rear-wheel drive model. Now, models whether rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive don't matter. Typically, the engine displacement, I believe Ford Rangers have a 4-cylinder. They have this 3.0 V6, and then they have a 4.0 V6, if I'm not mistaken. Now, all the codes should be the same. This is a Ford product, but I'm mainly diagnosing the 3.0. I don't want to quote it and say that this can happen to all Fords, but misfires are typical if your vehicle's been sitting or if it just has a lot of miles on it. You want it to be the spark plugs because that's the cheapest option, and the most expensive option is the fuel injectors. I think mine's were about, the cheapest one's like $42 a piece, but for a good one it's about $85 to $100 for one. Alright, so it's warmed up for a little bit. As you can see, it's starting to vibrate if you pay attention to the wheel. And another symptom is you can see that white smoke. You know, some misfire. That's where the gas itself is actually burning. It's not really being used properly. It's dumping more fuel than the engine needs right now because it's idling. So if you have a rough idle, you definitely have a misfire. So this check engine light right now is solid, but I'm going to drive it now and show you guys what happens once you drive it and put it in load. Simply what load means is when it's in its highest gear, which is about 45, 50. I'm not sure if this is a 5 or a 6-speed transmission. It can bog down. And I'll explain what that means as soon as it happens. So we're driving. Let me come out the complex first, because I want to give it a little bit more gas. As long as the check engine light is not blinking, you won't have any bogging down or loss of power in this vehicle. But if it starts to blink, you definitely will. And I believe that is the ECU way of protecting the engine from further damage, if it is damaged. So I'm giving it gas now. Let me get the vehicle a little more warm. I'm gonna show you what happens when it blinks. So like I said, it has power right now, but it's not going to always have power. And you shouldn't drive your truck hard like this either while it's cold. Just don't. I'll be right back. The gas light's on, so let's get some gas first. So I wanted to explain under load again. So around 40, 45 is when the truck is in its highest gear and you know it's under load. Now, the truck is not warm yet, and the check engine light's not blinking yet. But once it's fully warm, I'll come back and show you guys what I'm talking about. And also after I get some gas. Alright, so the vehicle's warm now, and I have about a half a tank in here. I put mid-grade in here, I didn't put premium, I didn't put regular. So, that's normally what I do for the truck anyways, and I use premium on my car. But I'm going to show you guys how the vehicle drives under load in a second. Just gotta get out of traffic. So I'm giving it a normal amount of gas. Well, it stopped blinking, so it's not a good example. Alright. So it's blinking now. Remember, it's in its highest gear. So it's under load, and I'm about to give it power. So you see how it's bogging? My foot's to the floor. Foot's to the floor right now. And the engine's revving at 3, but it seems to not be going anywhere. So that's another symptom of a misfire. Yeah. So if I give it regular amount of fuel, not stumbling to the ground, it will slowly pick up in speed. But other than that, it's going to do the same thing. So I try to avoid highways. And also that's probably where my fuel consumption is going as well. So I'm going to go get another fuel injector because I replaced the spark plugs like I mentioned earlier, as well as the spark plug cables. People say that you should replace all of the fuel injectors at one time, but they're just so expensive. Even the cheapest ones for the 6-cylinder, I have to get one a piece. So we're gonna go under the hood in a second after I go get that part. I'm gonna show you how to take off your manifold so that you can access 4, 5, and 6, because 5 is the culprit. 1, 2, and 3 is pretty simple. I'll show you guys that as well. Pulled over to handle some stuff, but the car is still warm. But remember, the engine light was blinking. So this is a perfect example of what the car is going to do when I try to start it. See? It struggled a lot trying to cut itself on. So, to the store we go.